The apartment was dark except for the shifting glow of Janelle's phone screen. I lay sprawled on the couch, pretending to scroll through emails, but really I was watching her. She hadn't looked up in nearly half an hour. Her face twitched. Laughter, then sudden tears, then laughter again, all in the span of seconds. Jesus, I muttered. You look possessed. Janelle smirked without taking her eyes off the phone. It's empathize. You wouldn't get it. Empathize, I repeated flatly. I'd seen the posters plastered across the subway that morning. Feel more. Live more. A man hugging his kid with a glowing wristband, eyes closed in bliss. Isn't that the thing frying people's brains? Didn't the news say hospital visits were up? She shrugged. Yeah, dehydration, fainting, whatever. People overdo it. Same as drinking. She finally looked up at me, pupils wide, skin faintly glistening with sweat. But when you pace yourself, it's incredible, I snorted. It's still just a feed, right? Scrolling strangers crying into cameras for attention. That got her attention. She leaned forward, her phone's glow cutting sharp shadows across her face. It's not just watching, it's feeling. Look. She tilted the screen toward me. A man was laughing in a sunlit park, holding an ice cream cone dripping down his hand. The caption read, #raw, #blissdrop, #hit me harder. I don't need to feel some dude's sugar rush. You don't get it, Alex, she said almost reverently. When he laughs, you laugh. When his heart races, yours does. It's like, she searched for the words, like being more human than you've ever been. Like stepping inside someone else's skin for a second. I rolled my eyes, but my chest ached in the silence after her words. More human. You sound like an ad, I said. Ads don't make you cry and then orgasm in the span of 3 minutes. She shot back, grinning. Well, not usually. I shook my head, laughing despite myself. You're insane. Or maybe you're just out of touch. She held up her wrist, flashing the band. Everyone's on this now. Even my boss streams her yoga classes. There are whole influencer tiers already, field streamers. The top ones rake in millions. I tried to brush it off, but curiosity gnawed at me. Everyone at work had been talking about their feeds during lunch, trading recommendations like TV shows. I'd sat silent, fiddling with my sandwich, pretending not to care, but Janelle's eyes were still locked on me, daring me. You want to try it, she said softly, as if she could read the pulse of temptation in my veins. I don't, I lied. Her grin widened. Sure. She went back to scrolling, her expression shifting again. A stutter of emotions I couldn't follow, laughing, frowning, sighing. I turned back to my phone, trying to refocus on my empty inbox, but the glow of hers pulled at the corner of my vision like a lighthouse. And for the first time, I wondered what it would actually feel like. Never wanted to sign up for Empathize, but everyone else had. At first it was just another app, another social platform. Except this one didn't just let you see people's posts, you felt them. They called it emotional streaming. A wearable wristband paired with neural software syncing directly to your vagus nerve. When someone posted a video, you didn't just watch it, you felt what they felt when they recorded it. It sounded invasive, creepy, and maybe a little dangerous for me. When I was 11, my older brother Ryan died in a car accident. One moment he was there, the next he wasn't. After that, it was like someone had pulled a plug inside me. The grief didn't just hurt, it burnt everything else away with it. No joy, no sadness, no real excitement. Just flatness. Years of it. I became good at faking, at mirroring whatever everyone else was feeling. But inside, nothing. That was the real reason I stayed away from empathize. I didn't need some gadget confirming that I was hollow. But Janelle, my roommate, swore by it. "You don't get it, Alex," she told me one night, shoving her band in my face. "It's like human connection distilled, better than therapy, better than sex, honestly." I laughed. "Better than sex? You're saying an app gave you an orgasm?" "Not that kind of better," she rolled her eyes. "But when you feel someone's joy, like really feel it, it fills your whole body. It's addictive in the best way." I wanted to tell her I'd forgotten what joy even felt like. But instead, I just shrugged it off, swore I'd never touch it. Of course. Curiosity, predictably, got the better of me. My bedroom was a cave of shadows, lit only by the rectangular glow of my phone. The sheets twisted around my legs were stale with sweat, and the faint scent of takeout containers sat on the nightstand. I hesitated over the download button. Janelle's words echoed. "It's not just watching, it's feeling." The loading circle spun. A Slate corporate jingle whispered through my earbuds. "Welcome to empathize. Feel more. Live more." The app's interface pulsed with color, like breathing. It prompted me. Sync band to begin. I slipped the rented wristband on. A thin plastic strip I'd ordered hours ago with one click. The screen blinked. Scanning baseline emotion. Please relax. I lay back, staring at the ceiling. The room hummed with silence. The app beeped softly, a heartbeat sound. Baseline, 27% contentment, 63% restless, 10% other. "Would you like to explore something new?" My thumb trembled as I hit yes. The feed blew open, rows of thumbnails. Laughing faces, crying faces, shaky camera angles tagged with glowing text. Hashtag bliss drop, hashtag raw joy, hashtag proposal high, hashtag hit me harder. I scrolled, heart hammering. Each post carried a faint static like electricity, just beyond reach. Finally, I tapped one. Live. Marcus M_87. She said yes. The screen expanded. It hit like lightning. My chest expanded with a rush of helium, a buoyant, unbearable joy flooding my veins. My lungs felt like they might burst. My mouth stretched in a grin so wide it ached. Tears pricked my eyes and spilled hot down my cheeks before I even realized I was crying. I felt Marcus on one knee, the trembling in his hands, the wild thud of his heart, the way the crowd around them erupted in applause. And I was inside it, not watching, not imagining, living. "Holy shit," I whispered, my voice breaking with someone else's joy. I clutched my chest, laughing and sobbing at once. The phone buzzed with reactions. Hashtag bliss drop, Hit me harder, Marcus, or I felt that in my bones. I didn't even notice typing back. Same, same, same. The feed surged as Marcus kissed her. My stomach flipped like I just jumped off a cliff. My whole body pulsed with euphoria so pure it was unbearable, like standing too close to the sun. And then it cut off. The screen dimmed, post ended. I collapsed back against the pillows, drenched in sweat, tears streaking my face, breath coming ragged and shallow. I stared at the ceiling, still grinning, alone in the dark. My cheeks hurt from smiling. Fuck, I whispered. I get it now. The last time I felt happiness like this, Ryan was still here, waiting for me after school, so we could walk home together. My phone buzzed again. Recommended for you. Hashtag raw joy. Hashtag pure love. Hashtag hit me harder. And my thumb was already moving. The next morning, I sat hunched over my coffee in the cafe near our apartment, staring at the surface until the swirls of cream looked like they were breathing. My phone rested face down on the table, but I could feel it thrumming faintly, like it wanted me to pick it up. Janelle slid into the chair across from me, hair still damp from the shower. She gave me one look and smirked. You tried it, didn't you? I didn't even try to deny it. I get it now. Her eyebrows lifted. Oh God, which one? The proposal stream, I said, leaning back, letting the words roll around like I was admitting to a guilty pleasure. It was insane, like I don't even have the words. I wasn't watching it, I was in it. I couldn't stop smiling. Janelle laughed, but there wasn't much joy in it. Yeah, that's how it gets you. First hits are always joy bombs. Safe, clean, pure candy. She stirred sugar into her mug, her spoon clinking too hard against the sides. But the feed doesn't stay there. The algorithm pushes you deeper. It rewards intensity. I frowned. Intensity? Think about it. You only clicked one. But when you open your For You page again, it's gonna be stacked with recs. The platform knows what spikes engagement. Pure joy is fine, but it doesn't trend like rage or grief. The strong stuff keeps people hooked. That's what bubbles to the top. She took a long sip, watching me over the rim of her cup. Huh. Don't let it. I snorted, trying to brush it off. Come on, I can handle it. I'm not. I almost said addicted, but that word felt too sharp, too soon. I'm not gonna spiral just because I watched some videos. Janelle leaned forward, lowering her voice. I told myself the same thing. But the feed doesn't just show you. It knows you. It reads your baseline, your micro responses. It knows where you're weakest, where to push. For a moment, the cafe noise around us faded. Just the hiss of the espresso machine, the muffled bass of a song overhead, the smell of scorched milk. I shook my head, forcing a laugh. You sound paranoid. It's an app, Janelle, not some mind-reading demon. But as soon as I said it, I remembered the band pulsing on my wrist the night before, the scan whispering, baseline, 27% contentment, 63% restless, 10% other. It hadn't felt like numbers on a screen. It had felt like being seen. I rubbed the inside of my wrist absent-mindedly. Janelle sighed. Just be careful, okay? You already know about the news stories, people ending up in hospitals, seizures, shock, dehydration. But the comments under those stories? She gave me a thin smile. Worth it. Best ride of my life. People joke about phantom bruises like it's nothing. That's where it goes. Her words lingered, but I forced another smile. Relax. I just wanted to see what all the hype was about. I'm fine. But when I picked up my phone again, the screen lit instantly. Notifications stacked up like gifts waiting to be opened. Recommended for you. Hashtag pure pain. Hashtag gone empty. Hashtag hit me harder. My stomach gave a little flip. The morning commute was the worst part of my day. Crowded subway, stale air, bodies pressed too close. Usually I zoned out with music, but today my phone pulled me in before I even realized I'd unlock it. I told myself I'd just scroll a little, a quick lift before work. At first, it gave me a wedding. A woman's face crumpling with joy as she said, I do. The roar of applause, my chest swelling until I thought it might burst. But almost before I could breathe it in, the next clip hit. A man crying on a dark kitchen floor, ring box still open in his hand. My ribs caved. My throat burned with grief that wasn't mine. My eyes watered in the middle of a packed train car, and I had to press my sleeve against my face, pretending it was allergies. Next swipe, rage. A street argument caught life, someone being shoved. Adrenaline spiked through me so hard my fists curled tight on their own, knuckles white. A stranger beside me flinched when I muttered under my breath, like I was about to swing. Next swipe, an ER waiting room, a mother sobbing into her hands. The sound wasn't even loud, but I felt it in my stomach, deep and nauseating. I hunched over like I was going to be sick. By the time I got to work, my body didn't feel like it belonged to me anymore. At my desk, I tried to bury myself in spreadsheets, but my hands kept trembling on the keyboard, phantom echoes of anger buzzing through my muscles. The numbers swam. I found myself sneaking looks at my phone every few minutes. You're on it too, a coworker asked, leaning over my cubicle wall. He grinned like we shared a secret. Man, I cried to some guy's breakup yesterday. Felt good though, right? Like cathartic. I forced a laugh. Yeah, totally. He clapped me on the shoulder and walked off humming, like it was the most normal thing in the world. At lunch, I couldn't even taste my food. My tongue still carried the metallic tang of someone else's panic. I kept replaying that ER clip in my head. The mother's sobs, the sterile light. But here's the thing, part of me wanted more. More grief, more rage, more intensity. The joy from last night felt flat now, like a balloon gone soft. I told myself it wasn't hurting anyone if I just watched. Everyone else was doing it. It was like streaming empathy, right? Better than bottling my personal feelings up my own empty chest. I took my phone out under the table. Notifications slid across the screen. For you. Hashtag raw. Hashtag pure pain. Hashtag hit me harder. I should have turned it off. Instead, I tapped and let the next wave take me under. At first, I only sought the happy feeds. Wedding proposals, kids' first steps, dogs catching frisbees in midair. Anything that made my chest swell, even a little. Anything that could remind me of Ryan. I'd watch couples laugh, siblings hug, a father spinning his kid around in the sunlight, and I could almost hear my brother's laugh again. My chest tightened in a bittersweet ache, a spark of something real, joy that wasn't mine. Yet it felt like a door I'd forgotten existed. I became careful, methodical. I curated my own micro haven of happiness. I would scroll for an hour, sometimes two, drinking in the curated bursts of bliss, letting my mind drift back to simpler days. Ryan and I tossing a football in the yard, his backpack slung over one shoulder as we raced to catch the school bus, the smell of rain on asphalt after a storm. For a while, it felt like he was there again just for a second, just enough to breathe life back into the hollow shell I'd carried for years. Then the algorithm began to notice me, noticing, observing, learning. My feet started to shift. The bursts of joy were still there, but now they came alongside something else, something sharp, something darker. A kid screaming after losing his balloon, a woman collapsing in frustration at the grocery store, a man's fury erupting over a minor argument in the street. At first I resisted. I wanted my happy feeds. I needed the flashes of my brother, the warm surge of remembered life. But the more I ignored the darker posts, the more they insisted. The algorithm learned which buttons to press, which micro fissures in my attention to exploit, and eventually the grief, the rage, the panic, they weren't about Ryan anymore. Not really. They were about something I couldn't name, something raw and urgent and unknowable, feeding a craving I hadn't realized existed until it seized me completely. My happiness feeds became appetizers for the real main course. Intensity. Pure, unfiltered intensity. I no longer scrolled to remember my brother. I scrolled to feel something, anything, even if it burned me from the inside out. And the feed, patient and precise, always delivered. It was after midnight, apartment silent, city hushed outside my window. I should have been asleep hours ago, but my thumb kept twitching toward the app like a reflex. The feed shimmered awake. One live stream hovered at the top. Live now, hashtag pure pain, hashtag real cut, hashtag stay with me. I almost scrolled past. Almost. The thumbnail froze me. A girl no older than me, sitting cross-legged on a bathroom floor, a razor blade balanced across her knee. I told myself I was just curious, just watching. It wasn't my pain. I tapped. Her breath was ragged, sharp through my headphones. The feed didn't waste time. It synced instantly. Her fear hit me first, electric, flooding my chest with a pressure so tight I could hardly inhale. My hands trembled in rhythm with hers. She whispered, "This is the only way I can feel real," and lifted the blade. And then the cut. A bright sting seared across my forearm, hot and immediate. My whole body jolted. I gasped out loud, nearly throwing my phone. The burn spread, sharp and raw, like my skin had been split. I ripped the band off me. The stream blinked out. My screen went dark, but the pain didn't. I clutched my arm, fingers digging into bare skin. No blood, no wound, just smooth, unbroken flesh. Still, the throb pulsed deep, bone deep, as if invisible glass was lodged beneath the skin. My nerves screamed. My brain didn't care that there was no cut. It believed. I stumbled to the bathroom, flipped the light on. Nothing. No line, no scar, no red. But I could feel it. I ran my arm under cold water until my skin numbed, but the phantom sting kept beating, each throb reminding me it was real, in its own way. I crawled into bed, shaking. Sleep didn't come. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her hand, her blade, my arm. I lay awake until dawn, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the ache to fade. It never did. Morning light bled pale across the kitchen table, too bright, too ordinary for what I'd felt the night before. My coffee sat untouched. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Janelle shuffled in, hair tied back, hoodie loose around her shoulders. She took one look at me and frowned. "You look like hell." I swallowed, throat dry, the words scraped out. I felt her cut. Last night, the girl on the stream. My hand hovered over my arm, the phantom burn still raw. It didn't stop. For a long moment, Janelle just stood there. Then she sighed, deep, tired, like she'd heard this before. She set her mug down, the clink echoing too loud in the small kitchen. "Yeah," she said. "That's how it starts." Before I could ask, she tugged at her sleeve. The fabric slid up, bearing her forearm. Faint lines crossed the skin. Not fresh, not visible at first glance, but once I saw them, I couldn't unsee. Pale tracks, running parallel. Too neat to be accidents, too real to be imagined. My stomach turned. "Jesus, Janelle." She didn't flinch. "They're not real cuts, not like that. My skin's clean. Doctors say there's nothing there, but I still feel them. Every damn day." I stared, unable to breathe. My own arm buzzed with sympathetic fire, like her phantom wounds were contagious just by looking at them. She leaned in, eyes steady, voice low. "You think you're just watching, but your body doesn't know the difference anymore. It starts copying, holding on to it. You carry pieces of other people, whether you want to or not." The hum of the refrigerator filled the silence. My pulse thundered in my ears. "I don't want..." My voice cracked. "I don't want this." Her gaze softened, but only slightly. "Then stop now. Delete the app. Walk away before it gets worse." I wanted to nod. I wanted to mean it, but the truth lodged somewhere deep in my chest. Because even now, through the tremor of fear and disgust, I couldn't stop replaying that moment. The sting, the raw jolt of it, the terrifying rush that wasn't mine, but felt more vivid than anything I'd lived in years. I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palm, chasing a shadow of that sensation. And I hated myself for missing it already. Days blurred, or maybe it was hours. I couldn't tell anymore. My thumb was constantly on fire, scrolling, tapping, chasing the next surge. I scrolled in bed, my wrists slick with sweat. I scrolled in the bathroom, staring at my reflection, dark circles framing my eyes like bruises. I scrolled at work, hiding my twitching hands under the desk. On the train, I gripped the pole with trembling fingers, eyes glued to the glow of the screen. Everything else, the apartment, my job, friends, shrunk away. The world existed only in the streams, and the streams hit. I laughed uncontrollably at the clip of a man crying at his father's funeral. I nearly dropped my phone as the chef screamed in agony on another feed, chest stabbing, stomach churning with someone else's panic. I didn't know where I ended and they began anymore. The mirror didn't help. My arms carried bruises that shouldn't exist. Tiny purple blotches, angry red smudges, as if the pain had imprinted itself. My weight had dropped. Clothes hung loose. My body felt like a borrowed vessel, racked by emotions I had never lived, yet carried like souvenirs. Online, the chatter normalized it. Phantom bruises equals badge of honor. Anyone else laugh at funerals yet? Hashtag hit me harder, hashtag raw, hashtag pure pain. I whispered to myself, the words tasting bitter. I can stop whenever I want. But the pulse under my skin, the electric thrum of others' lives coursing through me, laughed at my denial. I wasn't stopping. Not yet. I showed up at work with a black eye. I'd spent half the night locked inside a violent feat, some drunk in a stairwell getting his face pounded in. And when I finally ripped the headset off, I couldn't shake the ache in my skull. The bruise bloomed without warning, like my body had simply decided to mirror the pain. The fluorescent lights above the office reception seemed to hum louder than usual, their glare needling at my temples. My boss, Jeff, spotted me first. He froze mid-step, coffee cup halfway to his lips. Jesus, Alex, what happened to you? His voice was sharp with concern. For a moment, I wanted to tell him. I wanted to say it out loud. It wasn't me. I wasn't the one in the stairwell. I was just watching, just feeling. But the words stuck in my throat. My pulse thudded against the bruise, and I could feel myself shrinking under his stare. Before I could answer, Claire from marketing breezed in, balancing a stack of reports against her hip. She glanced up, saw my face, and smirked like she'd already solved the mystery. Probably just empathize, she said casually, like it was the weather. You know how it is. Everyone's coming in with something lately. Jeff blinked. His concern cracked, smoothed over. Empathize, huh? Yeah, makes sense. He gave me a small nod, as if the case had been closed. He even chuckled, almost embarrassed by his own reaction. Happened to me a few weeks ago. Logged off after some firefighters' feed and woke up coughing smoke for 2 days. Scared the hell out of my wife. Doctor said I was fine. He shrugged, sipped his coffee, and kept walking. Just like that, it was done. I stood there, mute, my mouth still half open with the explanation that would never come. The office sound swarmed back in. Phones ringing, keyboards clacking, Claire humming to herself. And the moment dissolved as if it had never existed. Inside, I felt hollowed out, like the world was moving too fast, skipping frames, everyone synchronized to some rhythm I couldn't hear. My eye throbbed, my body ached, but what unsettled me most wasn't the pain. It was how quickly they accepted it, how easily they swept me into the category of just another symptom. For the first time, I wondered if maybe I wasn't separate from the feed anymore. Maybe I was just another flicker of content to be skimmed, identified, dismissed. And no one, not even me, seemed to notice the difference. Darkness clung to the apartment like wet cloth. I hadn't turned on the lights. The glow of my phone was enough, pulsating across walls that had started to feel like they were closing in. I should have stopped hours ago. My hands were trembling violently, but I kept scrolling. I had to. I needed the next hit. The feed threw a beating at me. The man's screams echoed, a rhythm I could feel in my bones. My chest tightened, muscles spasming uncontrollably. I coughed. Then again. Blood. Warm, metallic, slick on my lips. My stomach lurched. My knees buckled. And still I scrolled. I could feel every punch, every crushing kick, as if my own body were the one being hammered. My teeth ached from clenching too hard. My arms throbbed, phantom pain marking places that weren't real. But the sight, the shared agony, was too compelling. Messages popped up in the corner of the screen like some cruel Greek chorus. Hashtag hit me harder. Anyone else get bruises from this one? Feels good to know I'm not alone in the chaos, I whispered, voice trembling. I can stop whenever I want. I can. A tremor ran through me. My vision blurred. The apartment felt like it was tilting. My pulse hammered in my ears like a drum. My lungs ached from coughing, from the pain that wasn't mine, from the rush I couldn't quit. I dropped the phone for a moment, gasping. Blood-slicked fingers pressed to my mouth. My arm felt on fire. My chest, too. I picked the phone back up. The screen glowed. The feed continued. I couldn't look away. Then, nothing. Blackness swallowed me. Janelle's room smelled faintly of disinfectant and cool air. The band on her wrist glowed, tiny pulses like a heartbeat. She was doing her own live stream. Janelle? I called hesitantly, not entering any further than the doorframe. Her eyes seemed empty, empty of her. She sobbed into the camera. I craved it. I quickly found her profile on Empathize, needing to feel her pain through the app, through my own body, even though she was a mere few feet away. I hesitated, thumb hovering over the screen. Every instinct screamed to look away, but curiosity, addiction, won. I tapped. Her face filled the screen. Hollow eyes. The kind of emptiness that wasn't sadness, wasn't numbness. It was absence. I felt it hit me instantly. Not joy, not pain, nothing. A vacuum clawing at my chest, pulling air from my lungs, erasing me from the inside out. My hands shook, mouth dry, stomach curling like a storm. I wanted to scream. I couldn't. She whispered, almost to herself, almost to me. The feed doesn't take your feelings, it replaces them. We're vessels now. When they've drained enough of us, they move in. Her lips barely moved. The words clawed into my skull. I tried to look away. Couldn't. My fingers twitched against the glass. I felt empty. A hollow echo where I had been. The chat scrolled past, eerily quiet this time. Only a few messages, punctuated with asterisks. Hashtag, going empty is the ultimate high. Who's left inside? My body trembled, phantom bruises burning across my arms. My chest tightened like iron bands. My teeth chattered, though I couldn't remember feeling cold. Then the feed cut. The screen went black. The silence hit me harder than any scream, any punch, any cut I'd ever felt through empathize. I stared at the band, glowing faintly on her wrist. It pulsed once, twice, then died as Janelle collapsed into her bed. And I understood. This wasn't a game. I wasn't a voyeur. I was just another vessel. And soon, they'd move in. I ripped the band from my wrist. The glow died instantly, leaving my apartment dim and accusing. My arms throbbed, muscles twitching as if the little device had left fingerprints on my very sinews. Phantom scars burned across my skin, jagged and impossible, proof of pain that never existed. My chest felt hollow, a cavern echoing emptiness. Every heartbeat a hollow thump that whispered I wasn't whole anymore. I staggered to my desk, knees weak, hands shaking. The keyboard clattered beneath my fingers as I typed. Confession, I called it, though it was more like a warning, a cursed transmission to anyone who might stumble upon it. I shouldn't have opened it. I wanted to feel. I wanted to know. Now I can't tell if I'm myself or something else inside me watching, waiting. Outside my window, a billboard flickered, an ad for empathize. Hashtag feel everything, hashtag pure joy, hashtag hit me harder. The colors blurred, crawling into my vision. I could almost feel the laughs and cries of strangers in the streets below, filtered through the app's invisible pulse. Hospital wings murmured in the news, whispers of empathize incidents, but everyone shrugged. Everyone had to feel it, had to chase it. I stopped typing for a moment, staring at my reflection in the dark screen. My eyes were too wide, pupils too sharp. There was a shadow behind me that moved independently, a weight pressing from the inside. Even now I feel it. Something inside me that isn't me, watching, waiting to move in. I hit save and sat back, trembling, the glow of my laptop the only light in the room. My chest ached, my arms screamed phantom pain, but I couldn't stop checking the empty glow of the band. It pulsed faintly, almost imperceptibly, as if still alive. And I knew, even without looking, that it never truly shuts off. I whispered to myself, almost a prayer, almost a curse. Don't let it in. And somewhere deep, I knew I already had.